sponsored by nobody.
What a dream story that is. An unsponsored, self-supported player.
Your Capcom Cup champion, iDom!
Congratulations!
Facing your demon is often the hardest challenge of all.
These guys got so much history playing each other.
So in other words, it's another classic
Historical battle. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
You know, this guy Punk is the worst because both years he didn't need the CPT spot at all, and he's here to gatekeep iDom.
More than lifting trophies, more than winning thousands of dollars, the true test of a champion is being able to face their rival, the person who always stood just beyond their limits, and emerge victorious. Because in the end, we don't remember the trail of foes our champion left in their wake. We remember the one player who they could never beat, the one player who always pushed them farther, and how our champion brought them down.
And for the first time this weekend, iDom actually reacts. And look how much it means to him.
iDom was nobody's pick for Capcom Cup 2019. He had an insane bracket, he played 2 mid-tier characters, and his rival, the one player he just couldn't beat all year, was one of the tournament favorites.
I played him. He makes you feel like you're just like the worst player to ever play Street Fighter.
He definitely makes you feel like you make a lot of errors.
It basically seemed impossible for iDom to make it past the first few rounds, let alone win the tournament. But in order to really understand what made iDom's run so incredible, you have to understand who he is first. After a bad breakup with an ex-girlfriend, iDom rebounded into Street Fighter 4 and Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which eventually turned into a love affair with Street Fighter 5 and its resident Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu master, Laura.
She did a lot of damage, and I always tend to gravitate towards characters that do a lot of damage because the less time I'm playing, the better. It's really just trying to liquidate people with health bars.
Early on, Laura wasn't seen as that much of a threat, but by season 2, she was a terror. And iDom made his name known by robbing rounds with her at NLBC, one of the most competitive weekly tournaments in North America. Well, he was cleaning up, until Punk showed up to NLBC.
But he's getting flipped around like a monkey.
Oh no, mixtape! And Punk definitely taking iDom to see the great Ganga.
At that point, Punk was considered the best player in North America and one of the best in the world. He was a terror, and iDom was having trouble with him. But then, at Defend the North 2017, iDom finally got one over on Punk.
Oh, you're backing off. It's killing his momentum.
Might have been a bad move. You respect a little bit too much.
Yo, it's games. It's cartons.
Oh, and it's a perfect V skill.
2017.
They faced off time and time again, but it was Punk who almost always won.
Walk up. Oh, iDom. Oh, iDom. Be careful.
Punk's very much ill. Oh, he could have gotten it.
Tries to get the throw. The shimmy.
Every time we played in season 2, I felt like our gap wasn't too far apart. I always felt like in season 2 it could go either way. But in season 4, he was beating me a lot. I kind of had a mental block because I also thought oh, Karen's not strong. It's hard to beat Karen. But he was really good, and he was really making the character shine.
Meanwhile, Punk was becoming a household name. He was a sponsored player, which meant he could travel to tournaments and gain experience playing against the very best in the world. Over the course of the season, he became feared for his incredible hit confirms, his oppressive pressure, and his non-stop teabagging.
Shimmy.
Oh. Is that over? Is that over?
Oh, come on, guys.
You definitely deserve that one.
Crouch jab.
And iDom? Well, iDom was still hanging out in New York. He was winning locals and playing in some smaller East Coast tournaments, but he wasn't traveling. But iDom had a good reason not to travel. His time and money were focused on school. He even turned down some sponsorship opportunities.
In season 2, the start of season 2, I was a semester and a half almost done with college. So obviously I didn't want to be I can't be sponsored flying everywhere, obviously, because then one time I have a big exam or something important coming up, and I don't want the sponsor to be oh, but we need you in Europe or something, or we need you there. So that was in the beginning of season 2. Now that I'm almost done with school, I have 1 semester left.
As the seasons went on, iDom's main, Laura, got weaker. But he stuck with his girl, figuring that there was no way she could be weaker than in season 1. Then, halfway through season 4, he picked up Poison to cover some of her bad matchups.
Oh, he had a bar. GG's. GG's.
He dominated at NLBC and Defend the North and East Coast Throwdown, But he wasn't traveling, which meant that he just watched as guys like Punk went around the world to collect CPT points. Punk was a favorite at any tournament he went to, and iDom, well, the diehards knew about iDom. He wasn't making any headlines. But then, in 2019, iDom started to travel more. He wasn't exactly flying around the world or anything, but he was attending more and more tournaments outside of the East Coast. And quietly, iDom had a pretty incredible year.
Meaty stands short, blocking the Deshko. V reversal out of fierce.
But he missed the super.
He got him. iDom
missed the
eliminates
super.
Fudo.
Oh, again the
Almost
mix-up.
done. And he got the stun. iDom should be able to take it here.
Yeah, barring some colossal drop, but he just goes up, does the simplest combo that he can find.
If he could have micro-walked, it would have worked, but he could have went with a sweep. Stop, Max. Stays in the front. Stop, there's no escape. Oh, no, he didn't follow. Oh, no! And that's it, that's it. That's lights out. That is lights out. He didn't even activate. He didn't even have to activate. Oh, and this man is playing on another level. He's playing out of this world. This is intergalactic tactics. This man is just...
He wasn't winning premier tournaments, but he was learning a lot and growing as a player.
I see how people in different regions approach the game. Like, I feel like America plays one way, Japan plays another, Europe plays another. Every region has like their own take on Street Fighter V, and like, it's refreshing to see.
But at almost every turn, his demon, Punk, outplaced him.
Despite all that, at the first part of this round, it's Punk in the corner, with the corner, maintaining it.
He's so good at just being ready for people to try to jump out of the corner.
Maintaining it.
Got another throw, another throw.
iDom's in big trouble.
And then, of
it's gonna be
course,
Punk.
the one time he tries to hit a button on Wake Up, Punk has the media attack all ready to go.
Punk spent 2019 as the unquestionable king of the CPT leaderboard. He won dozens of tournaments and amassed more points in one season than anyone ever had. He was unstoppable. And going into Capcom Cup 2019, Punk was seen as the only NA hope. People were hot on Japanese players like Bonchan and Tokido. So if NA had any chance, it was gonna be Punk, not iDom, who was facing down an insane bracket stacked with some of the toughest competition Street Fighter had to offer. Most people didn't even think iDom would win his first round.
Fujimura, iDom, historically, these two have played a few times. I like Fujimura in the match. Despite iDom playing fantastic this year, I think that this is somebody who always comes in really hot, and his record at Capcom Cup is incredibly good.
I'm gonna go with Fujimura. The strength of Fujimura is too strong.
My actual goal was to like not go 0-2. I didn't want to just be like, oh, that guy made the Capcom Cup and then he lost 2 straight and he's out the tournament. I actually just wanted to win like 1 or 2 matches so it didn't look that bad.
Expectations may have been low, but iDom blew them out of the water.
First time in a set that's been poorly spaced. By Fujimura gets opened up again. Back throw.
This is
it's gonna be...
He's dead just like that. iDom over Fujimura.
Oh, there he is. And another throw.
Oh, and Infectious is now making a comeback.
Russell's good choice. He can't get hit here. The grey health. Oh my god, he's going in.
Forward. And iDom with the comeback. iDom books his place in winners top 16.
The crush didn't reach. Same thing happened earlier. The jab doesn't hit either. V reversal, I love it from iDom. The backdash counter hit. iDom top 8 winners at Capcom Cup over Mago.
All of a sudden, iDom had taken down 3 of the best players in the world. All of a sudden, iDom was in top 8.
It was just one match at a time. After I made top 8, I was just one match at a time.
But on the other side of the bracket, Punk was, well, he was just doing what Punk does.
Goes right in the trigger, a V reversal to stop
that's
the
a
pressure.
punish.
And he
Stand
says,
up already.
you can do it, I can do it too. That's gonna cash the ticket. Plot armor. Punk goes further in this Capcom Cup bracket.
He blew through the competition, even dropping Fudo, one of the best players in the world, into the loser's bracket. And iDom, after a narrow win in top 8 over Phenom, iDom's next match was set. It was him versus Punk, the man versus his demon. Everyone had their money on Punk, but iDom wasn't going down without a fight.
Yeah, this is where Karen really gets frustrated because, you know, she can't play her usual dominating footy game against these characters. But when she gets you in the corner, she does make it count. He waits for the button again, and he plays under reversal. We are going to 2-1 iDom. Is he going to banish his demon?
Now he's got the corner again. In the throw loop.
Really
He catches him reaching, and there's the stun. What a horrible situation to be in. He isn't going to be able to get the kill.
I was going to ask again. Has Punk been behind at all this weekend? Trying to finish this off. That will be it.
iDom with a valiant performance, but Punk takes his pace, and you can see how much it means to him.
The first game we played, it was pretty bad. So like, I had to remember, I wasn't playing against people that rarely played me. I was playing against the guy I play all the time. So that's when like I had to make the switch to Poison, and it was just getting more familiar about how like he plays and stuff.
iDom was sent down to losers, but he'd already achieved so much more than anyone expected of him. He was guaranteed top 3, sponsors would probably be more interested in him, and he proved that he was more than just a threat on the East Coast. He was an international competitor who deserved respect. But the tournament wasn't over, and iDom wasn't done just yet.
After I lost, honestly, I wasn't thinking more about grand finals. I was thinking like, who's gonna be my losers finals opponent.
Get out of there, John. Oh, what are you pressing? This gets the game. Overhead, links, other side. Try to jump.
He's gonna get mixed again.
Oh, he's got it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're still alive.
Oh, he's still alive. What are you doing?
iDom with the interruption. It's gonna be USA all the way.
With yet another win over Phenom, iDom was once again face to face with Punk. And at first, things did not look so good.
Oh, he's gonna go to the critical line. Huge advantage. All off of a hooligan Logan. Yes, Yoki, double dash. Yes, it will
Crossed
be.
up and flicked the back of her head. That was crazy. iDom has to be reversal. He wanted that activation.
Oh, he takes the dash. And it is Punk who goes into a humongous 2-0 lead and they'll win a side here against iDom.
But that's when iDom bounced back.
Keeps himself in his round.
Looking for that crouch fierce. Confirm.
Oh, that was it. Didn't commit to the EX. Punk can close this out with one hit. Looking for the confirm.
Just one second.
Oh, that was it.
Another
execution
drop
error.
cannon strike, and he gives a game to iDom, who will take it gladly. He needs all the ones he can get here.
Well, this is
fighting
checkmate,
for his
isn't it?
life.
Elfie just lost there, Logan.
The activation, he finally gets a V-trigger activation. He hasn't been able to activate hardly at all.
Oh, he's gonna do it! He's gonna make it to a beat! We just got a real match! Logan, we just got a real set!
How's he gonna fight his way out of the corner? He's not, he's gonna get stunned.
This should be it. We should be headed to... Oh, we've got a reset!
For a reset. And iDom interrupts again. And it's turned around one more time. Where are you going? He's in the blender. He has to be reversal. He jumps out, but he's not out yet.
Oh,
he's gonna get punished.
This kid is ridiculous! This kid is ridiculous!
Inches from glory, one win away from winning his first ever Capcom Cup, and Punk looked shook. He was dropping his combos, his legendary confirms were off. iDom was inside his head.
And he needs to stop him putting that fireball on the screen. He hasn't done. That gives him half the screen. Oh, he's got
the wrong
it.
time! It's a big reversals, get out of there. That's still gets a bug. EX again.
Oh, yeah,
what's it gonna be?
The EX.
The decisions from this kid have been off the charts.
There's the interruption. No takeover. What happened?
Oh my
word, he's still in the blender. This is a follow-up legit backdash. He V reversals.
Oh, he pressed the button at the wrong time. 2-0 iDom. Logan, what's going on?
There's the throw, and the stun is racking up. The interruption. Get interruption with light punch. He's getting the crouch immediately.
Crouch attack button again. This is going to do a ton of damage. Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't believe it, Logan.
And for the first time this weekend, iDom actually reacts. And look how much it means to him. Wow.
Oh my days. People stand up and take a bow, acknowledge the talent before you. iDom sponsored by nobody.
What a dream story that is. An unsponsored, self-supported player makes it all the way here, qualified on the Capcom Pro Tour, and he is now your Capcom Cup 2019 champion.
iDom lifted the trophy as one of the most unlikely champions in Capcom Cup history. He wasn't just one of the lowest seeds in the bracket. He wasn't just playing mid-tier characters. He played against his demon twice and won. But that didn't magically end his mental block with Karin. It didn't change his life in incredible ways. It just felt good.
Yeah, this tournament, like, it really counted, so that's why I feel like it's more important.
Hell, even when he got back home, iDom was still humble. His family doesn't even know he won $250,000.
Home is the same shit, but nobody really knows. Nobody really watches the tournaments that I attend to, so like it's a secret, my little secret.
So most people don't treat him too differently. Obviously, the crowd at NLBC is happy that they helped craft the Capcom Cup champion, and they're excited to play against him every week. iDom still has one class left to finish before he graduates, and he still has no idea what he wants to do with the Capcom Cup prize money. He doesn't know if he's gonna travel more, go pro, focus on getting a job, take it easy. He's got no clue. He's just taking everything moment by moment. And while that might not sound like an incredible plan for the future, it's exactly how he won Capcom Cup. He took everything match by match until, in the end, he broke down every barrier between him and glory.
I do enjoy competing in tournaments because it's really fun to like see everyone and like go to places you've never been before, but I'm not sure. It's kind of weird. I never like thought of it. I'm more of a now guy. I haven't really been thinking like about the future and stuff. It's not happening yet, so I'll focus on it another time.
But that's when iDom bounced back. Welcome to bounce. Bounce, 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 and then you hear like bounce back. Boing, boing, boing sound effect. Ugh. Bounce back. Boing, boing, boing sound effect. Bounce back. Ugh.